Give thanks, respect each and every time. Let's begin. There comes a quiet moment when the past loosens its grips. Not loudly, not suddenly, just a subtle realization that something you carry for years no longer holds the same weight. The memories remain, the lesson remain, but the power they once had over your thoughts begins to soften and slowly fades. For a long time, it felt permanent. Certain moments replaying in quiet corners of the mind, the old feelings returning without warning, like echoes that refuse to disappear completely. You learn to live with them, moving forward, and still sensing their presence somewhere beyond everyday decision and every quiet moments of reflection. Time moves slowly, but it changes everything, not by erasing the past, but by shifting the way it rests inside you. One day, you notice something different. The weight has changed. What once shaped every step forward now sit quietly behind you, no longer directing the path you choose. The past rarely announces when it attaches itself to our lives. It arrives through moments that seem ordinary at first. A disappointment, a loss, something said at the wrong time. Without noticing, we begin carrying these fragments forward, allowing them to settle quietly into ways we see ourselves and the world. At first, the weight feels small, just a memory stored somewhere in the background, just a feeling that occasionally returns. But times add layers to these moments. What was once brief begin to feel constant, not because the past grew larger, but because we continue holding it long after the moments had ended. Eventually, we believe in these moments defines us. The past start to feel permanent, as if certain experiences must remain attached to who we are forever. And so we hold on, keep holding on, even when life continues to moving forward. The moments stay close, quietly influencing how we see each new step ahead. Letting go really begins with a decision. Instead, it begins with awareness, a quiet pause in the middle of an ordinary day when you suddenly notice the past feels slightly further away. The memory still exists, but it no longer fills the entire space of your thoughts like it once did. You may notice the shift slowly. The memory appears, but the feelings attached to it feel different now. It moves through your mind more gently, like a distant echo instead of a sharp reminder. And for the first time, the past begins passing through your thoughts instead of stopping them completely. These changes are easy to overlook because they happen quietly. There is no dramatic moment announcing that something had shifted, but in the difference, it's real. The past begins to lose the authority. is one's health, allowing the present moment to breathe without being constantly shaped by what already happened. You begin noticing the distance. The story remains, but the emotional pull weakens. The moment that once defines your perspective now sits amongst many other experiences that shaped your life. It becomes part of the journey rather than center of it, quietly taking its place in the background. For years, the past may have shaped how you saw yourself. Old mistakes, repeating in memory. Old expectation, lingering long after circumstances change. These moments felt permanent because they stay close to your thoughts. But distance slowly reveals something important about every experience we once believed defined us completely. Time creates perspective. When we look back from further along the path, events appear different than they once did. Not smaller, but clearer. We began understanding that no single moment was meant to become the entire definition of who we are and what our futures must hold. That realization changes everything. The past became a chapter instead of the whole story, a moment that shape growth rather than a label that remains forever. And with that understanding, the grip begins to loosen naturally, allowing you to move forward without constantly carrying us today into every new experience. Letting go does not require forgetting. It simply means the memory no longer controls how you see the present moment. The event remains part of your life parts, but its weight no longer determines the direction of every thought, every choice, or every possibility that lies ahead. When something releases its hold, space appears. Space inside your thoughts, space inside your emotion, room that was once filled with old stories, repeating memories. That space feel unfamiliar at first because for so long it was occupied by something that was once seems impossible to move beyond. The mind adjusts slowly to this openness. Thoughts move more freely. New possibilities begin appearing where old patterns once lived. It feels like stepping into a quiet room after years of constant noise, realizing that peace was always possible once the echo of the past begin fading away. Gradually, you realize how different life feels without a constant weight. Movements become easier, thoughts feel clearer. The path ahead open naturally because it is no longer restricted by something that already happened long ago and no longer need to control the present. Letting go does not erase the past. The memories remain part of your life story, but they travel different now. Instead of being carried heavily in your thoughts, they exist quietly in the background. Acknowledge without being needing to influence every step forward you choose to take. This realization brings a quiet strength. You understand that remembering does not mean returning. The past can exist without pulling you backward. It becomes something you recognize with clarity, appreciating the lessons offer while continue to move towards new experiences ahead. The difference may seem small at first, but it changes everything. You're no longer walking while looking over your shoulder. Your attention moves forward, and with that shift, the future begins to open in ways that were difficult to see when the past occupies so much space. The past was never meant to hold you forever. It was only meant to shape your understanding for a time. And its lessons are learned, life continue opening forward, inviting you to move freely into everything still waiting ahead. Now you know, letting go was never losing. Develop in silence. Move with purpose. Respect every time.